want to share with you some simple tips to try out if your child struggles with a lateral lisp. Now, a lateral lisp, also known as a slushy lisp, is different from a frontal lisp because the air is coming out the sides of the mouth, making a slushy sound like this. Shh. Whereas with a frontal lisp, the tongue is protruding past the teeth to make a th sound. So the biggest thing that we're trying to do is we're trying to help our kids achieve the correct airflow so that it comes out the middle of the mouth to make a nice, clear s sound. So I'm going to share with you how to help a child achieve the correct airflow and tips and tools that I use to help them do that. One thing that is also different from the frontal lisp is the lateral lisp is not a developmentally appropriate air, which means that the majority of the time this isn't an air that's going to go away as a child gets older without some form of intervention or support showing the child how to make the sound correctly. So if your child is struggling and getting that slushy S, then you are on the right track to helping them get the support that they need so that they can overcome this air. So a tip and a tool that I use is I use the letter T and a straw to help them make the S correctly. And for the straw, I actually like to take a straw and I like to cut it in half. And as I go through and show you how I use this, you'll see how it just makes it a little bit easier to have it shorter. So here are the 5 steps to helping your child make an S sound using the T and a straw. What the straw does is it helps to hear when the airflow is coming out the right way. So we place the straw up to our teeth right in the middle, and you'll hear that when I do it correctly and the airflow is coming out the middle like it's supposed to, we'll hear a whistling sound. But if the air is coming out the sides of the mouth, we're not going to hear that. So the number 1 step using a T and a straw is we're going to take the straw, put it up to the middle of our mouth, and make the T sound. And the reason that we do this is because if a child struggles with a lateral lisp, then the chances of them being able to imitate a correct S is going to be very minimal. So we want to use a sound that they can do, and also one that is made in the same place as the S. So we'll get our straws, have a child get their straw, put it up to their mouth, and make a T sound. And I like to have them do it in spurts of 3. Number 2, you're going to have them hold out the T. So as they're doing spurts of 3, when they get to the last spurt, you're going to have them hold it out. It's going to look like this. Then number 3, you're going to have them do the spurts of 3 with the T. And as they hold out that last one, then you're going to tell them to pause. And you're going to tell them to freeze their mouth and their tongue exactly where they are. So they'll pause and then make the sound again like this. And this whole time as we're starting out teaching our kids to do this, you want to make sure that you're doing it with them, because then they get that visual example and that auditory feedback so that they can hear how it's supposed to sound while they're seeing you do it correctly, so that they can practice it with you and try and imitate it at the same time. And then number 4, what you want to do is you want to have them see if they can do just the S on its own. And in the beginning stages, you can have them do a production of T just to get their tongue in the right spot. So tell them do a T, tss, tss, freeze, hold it, hold your tongue there. And now we're going to put the straw up and just do the S on its own. Tss, tss, and have them do that several times. And then the 5th and final step, what you're going to do, you're going to have them practice doing it without the straw. And how I like to do this so that we are gradually fading it out is I will tell them we're going to do it 5 times. And then after the 2nd time, we're going to pull the straw down and keep doing the S. So it could look like this. Now, if at any point they have a hard time and you notice that slushy sound coming back, don't hesitate to jump back and practice it with the T sound. There's nothing wrong with this. This isn't a bad sign. This is really helpful because this is such a new and difficult movement for their tongue, and we want to really solidify this new skill. So it doesn't matter if you have to keep going back to the T, just help them so that we can really start to create that muscle memory of making a S on its own. And you may have noticed as I went through all the different steps, not once did I give an example where we were saying words with the sound in it. We only did the sound all on its own because this is the very first and foundational skill to being able to make the S. They need to be able to make the S on its own before ever trying to do it in words, and especially when talking in sentences or conversation. So if you would like to know the correct order to follow, you can download my free copy of a speech sound hierarchy chart that shows you how to start by working on the sound on its own and what steps to gradually take to help your child be able to eventually make the S all on its own at the highest level of communication in conversation. And once your child is able to make the sound on their own without doing it with you, make sure that you have them practice that for several days just to make sure that they have really honed in on that and that skill is starting to stick. And then once they're able to do that, then you can try moving on to step 2 of the hierarchy, which is working on the S sound in syllables. And you can find that video linked in the description below. I hope that helps, and let me know if you have any questions or concerns in the comments down below.